Welcome everyone to Live from NCCE, the best free EdTech PD from NCCE. Good to have you all here today. We are very excited because we have Dr. Min Sung with us. Dr. Sun has been at the University of Washington for 10 years. She's published almost 50 different articles and studies, been cited thousands of times, and this colleague.ai looks absolutely fascinating. It looks like it can really, speaking as a teacher, make our lives a lot easier. So we are delighted to have you here with us to show us how we can be collegial with this AI and make our lives easier. So take it away, Dr. Sun.
Thank you so much, Tammy, for the warm introduction. And I am honored to share with you this topic, EdTech in the generative AI era, empowering educators and personalized learning for all. And as Tammy introduced, I am the co-founder of Colleague AI and also a faculty member at University of Washington. And a lot of Colleague AI's research and development is supported by the Institute of Educational Science under U.S. Department of Education and also by National Science Foundation. We really appreciate their generous support. So the first segment of today's presentation, I wanted to share with you what kind of a problem and issues generative AI can support schools, educators, parents. And then I will walk into to discuss more about Colleague AI's design principle as an illustration of how tech developers can really grounded their innovation into solving problems, work with educators, school leaders, parents, students together in the tech development process. And then I will do a brief demo of some of the core features that hopefully showcase how do we embed effective teaching and learning into the tech development. And then, as Tammy mentioned, that we will open up for your question. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to tap in the chat or submit it to Tammy, and she will collect everything. And then we will start the more interactive, engaging part. So let me come back to this topic. Like, what are those problems and issues educators in school are facing? So number one is we heard this statistic quite often in education. Teachers are burned out. As a matter of fact, K-12 teachers are the number one most burnout profession in the United States, right? 52% of the teachers in K-12 schools report often and always feeling burnout. And so what is the reason that leads to teachers feeling burnout? And one top reason is the heavy workload. This is statistics, again, based on TELUS. It's a relatively older data, but certainly apply, and maybe the problem even more exacerbated after the pandemic. And you see teachers typically in a regular week work way more than 40 hours per week, and teachers spend, you see, about 21 hours per week on tasks like individual lesson preparation, grading, assessing students' performance, and doing professional development, other administrative tasks, and then the rest of the time focus on classroom teaching. And we know this 21 hour what the teachers spend on are essential instructional tasks. However, we're wondering what this task actually taking away their valuable time that they should spend on high leveraging tasks, such as engaging with the students one-on-one or having more interaction with the students in the classroom. So we're wondering how technology, particularly the generative AI powered technology, can augment those tasks and can help to reduce teachers' burnout. So that is one issue. And we are wondering, and we are developing tech feature to help, I would say, at least reduce or not, even if it's not completely solving the issue. And then when ChatGPT, generative AI, become available, and educators quickly start to adopt those generative AI tool, as well as not just those general purpose, but also this what we call simple wrappers, which basically build an interface on top of the foundational models. And we start to see like a quick take up by teachers. And however, we know that those general purpose generative AI tool or those simple wrappers may not completely solving the problem, because we notice a number of issues. Number one, teachers notice and school notice that those platform are not teacher students centric, in the sense that they are developed and not grounded in solving the day-to-day teaching and learning problems. And second, lack of specificity and depth of learning and instructional tasks, have no validation of the quality and rigor of the content to generate, and then have inadequate understanding about pedagogy or students' learning progression. So with understanding of those limitations, we start to wonder, are there other specialized AI tools deserve to be further developed that really build in the rigor and also grounded co-designing with educators? So we discussed about the problem issues schools, educator facing. The second, what are some student learning sort of barriers and issues and challenges schools and educators or parents facing? And we know that U.S. students' population has been increasingly diverse, and many teachers are not prepared to develop and implement instruction to meet this increasing diversity of students' needs. For example, the diversity may stem from various academic mastery level in a given classroom, multiple language, cultural background, and students with disabilities, with other special education needs. And we also see a statistic here: schools lack staff to offer this one-on-one or small group support for those students who need special support. And public school reported that in the following role, they are significantly understaffed, such as special education, classroom aid, academic intervention specialists, multi-language learners or English as a second language or bilingual education, and then one-on-one tutoring. So you saw like the student front of challenge. Then the more which apply to everyone is to think about this bigger picture question. And what the future education should look like what skills and knowledge do future workforce need in this generative AI era? How do AI technology develop? We are not offloading our human cognitive development, our human learning, but actually cultivate humans' creative thinking and creativity, critical thinking. How AI transform teaching and learning in a way that support future workforce and also support future human AI, this type of partnership to complete tasks. So with that, we at the University of Washington, the Amplify Learn.ai Center, as well as Colleague AI, have this vision. We cannot answer completely those questions as well, sort of the future question. But we are trying to, based on the technology we understand, to articulate this quote-unquote third agent framework to help us think about this three-way interaction between teacher, student, and AI in the classroom. We sort of articulate in the future classroom, we have these three attributes. Instead of in the traditional classroom, only teacher and students interact with one another and then generate a learning opportunity. In the future, will be three-way teacher, students, AI dynamically interact to generate content, generate material, generate learning opportunity for students. The future learning going to be a whole lot more personalized to be able to support the students' needs, the diverse students' needs as we discussed, and also be able to work alongside with teachers to fill those a number of understaffed roles we just discussed in schools. And the future classroom instruction, teaching and learning going to become a whole lot more collaborative in the sense that teachers will be able to organize more project-based learning, more students discourse in the classroom, more student collaborating with one another to complete tasks as well as to learn. And there are going to be more easy collaboration among teachers, educators, staff, as well as with the AI. So with that, we embedded all about what we envision about the future in the design of a colleague AI. Colleague AI now is a spin-off from University of Washington, the Amplified Learn.ai Center. And we are now serving thousands of educators across the country in the short 12-month period to grow from only 20 teachers on the platform last August to today about 12,000. Depends. Every day we have like 100 or 200 educators sign up these days, and our growth rate rapidly increase these days. So who we are, and I feel like we distinguish ourselves from many other platforms on the market. We feel like because of our design principles. The first is we're specialized AI technology. We even fine-tune using human reinforcement learning to fine-tune the model that make it embedded in teaching and learning tasks. And we give you the latest AI technology that available is not just the large language model, but also many other machine learning AI technique as well. And we put them coherent in the way that to support teachers' tasks as well as the students' learning tasks. And we embedded subject-based effective teaching and learning into our models. And we also utilize learning science to help us structure the feature. And we are doing ongoing research to help us refine the features and the models. We are user-centric in the sense that we co-design with classroom teachers, with the students. We are currently running co-design with 20 classroom teachers, 600 of their students to design the classroom feature and to, as you all saw in the previous slide, to be able to allow teachers to carry out this type of instruction in their classroom. And then we have a robust supporting system. We have a synchronized, asynchronized learning offered to our users. Because of the design principle, we have a number of features. We have features towards educators. We feel like quite comprehensive. Pretty much you can complete most of your instructional tasks on our platform. And then we have a classroom student-facing version. We have organizational intelligence, which is for school leaders and district leaders, which is going to be available in the summer for the organizational intelligence. We have a number of accessibility supporting functionality. And now we're partnering with 10 school districts to assess how teachers use of colleague AI on their classroom efficiency, as well as on their students' test scores. And this is one case study in one classroom, and I will read out loud to you all. But we know that this is may not be representative. That's why we are doing this large-scale study to assess the impact of colleague AI in classroom and students' learning outcome in next 2 years. And we will make everything transparent. We will make the research study result available on our website. So very briefly, read out loud. Super exciting data point. This is from one case study classroom teacher. Super exciting data point. Halfway through the year, we take the iReady diagnostic. The goal is for students to be at a 50% growth towards their yearly growth goal. Last year, my students made an average of 72% growth in January. This year, students have made an average of 108% growth in January. I can attribute a lot of this towards colleague AI, both the teacher and student facing. This teacher has been one of our co-design teacher since the last year. So when her students took the test, she already utilized our platform for about a year. Her students using our platform for about 2 months before taking the tests. So that's that. And again, we are using those real data to help us refine our features and also help us to pivot as well. Very quickly about the privacy safeguard as well as a single sign-on function. And here, let me quickly walk through all these major functionality of the platform. And then I'm sure you are eager to see like how colleague AI in action. So we'll do a demo and we can see the platform. And you can also connect my earlier presentation of the problem we aim to solve and the design principles. When I do the demo, you will see them, how they manifest into our product design. So as I mentioned, there's a list of the features you can do on the platform, such as you can brainstorm idea, just like using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. You can also do designated, generate instructional materials. This is really our intellectual property. I can illustrate to you about a number of things about generate a lesson and generate a rubric, do AI assisted rubric based grading, as well as to do nudging, like how we utilize learning science theory to guide us and develop a number of nudging functionality, as well as walk you through the beta version of the classroom, which is now we are testing co-design with this 20 classroom teacher and their students. And the classroom feature going to be available in mid-May. Okay. If everything goes well, Mike and Tammy, I can continue go to the demo. If you wanted to interrupt me, feel free anytime. Okay, I don't see them interrupting me, so I'm going to keep going. And hopefully, once you see the demo, we can start to have a conversation. So the brainstorm idea, this is what you see once you colleague AI is completely free at this moment. And because it's federal funded, we're still in the heavy research and development phase. And so you can just register a free account, and then you see the Sun Plus. That means you already have the latest AI technology. You can start to use all the functionality. And the default when you get in is brainstorm idea. This function. This is, as you can see, you can do a number of functions. You can just have a free chat over here. We have 2 chatbots, Claire and Charlie AI and Clear AI. Clear is the default, is the most integrated AI chatbot. And then Charlie is the experimental chatbot. We try out new features over Charlie. You may encounter some issues with it if we are running a new pipeline, new features, and try out new models, for example. But feel free to test it out when you have time. You just want to see what is new on colleague AI. You can try out Charlie. And here, as you can see, in addition, you have an open-ended conversation with the AI, you also can use quote unquote some existing system prompts, so you don't have to heavily prompt the AI to complete the task for you, such as some common instructional task like UDL, Universal Design for Learning, and such as writing an IEP, such as prepare school email, such as organize a PLC. When you hover over and when you start to go through this, you will see that this process heavily utilize DoFar and other sort of research literature about what effective PLC should look like professional learning community, for those of you who don't know the acronym. And so it will start to guide you through that process. But always, you don't have to follow the AI's guide. And we always trust the teachers are the expert, and you can have a free conversation with AI from here. So the one I really wanted to demonstrate today is, quote unquote, we spent a lot of R&D effort into to develop a specialized pipeline for educators and for students. So one is generate content. If you saw my presentation in terms of utilizing general purpose AI that's not fine-tuned for instructional tasks, you may not have the learning progression built in. You may not have effective teaching theory and framework embedded in the generated lessons. To address those, we developed this special pipeline called Generate Lesson. And here you can enter some simple information. The AI then will be able to generate such a function as like a relatively complete lesson plan for you. So I prepared a little cheat sheet so you don't have to watch me typing. And so now this is we are going to generate an elementary math lesson. It's about multiplication associated property. And then you can see me type in, those are the 3 learning objectives. And how I wrote this learning objective is I literally go to look at the learning standards associated with the associative property and just to put it here. But the things that I feel like I want to share with you all is I say reveal, and then understand the new concept and then apply. I sort of already embedded a little bit of the learning progression into it, but even if you don't, our AI agent will be able to build in learning progression in it. And I know the standard, you can specify multiple standards. We are consistent with the Common Core State standards or next generation science standards because they are sort of quote unquote national standards. But even if you don't specify, because this is not required, or you just tap in your state standards, it should be able to recognize as well. And then, for example, like I am in Washington, then if you tap in Washington, it can further connect it to your state standard and your state other type of requirements as well. And today, in terms of other requirement, this is really sky is the limit here. In terms of other requirement, you can put any other things you wish the AI to consider during the process of generating a license, you can do so. And for me, I'm going to say embedding support for multi-language learners at each stage of the lesson. Then I click draft lesson. And here you see that it pop out. Leaving this page while generating in progress will result in losing your work, just because it takes a little bit for the AI to print out the entire lesson plan for you. And as you can see that the AI generated is not just about a skeleton, some bullet point, but I actually print out very detailed the content, the task, as well as the pedagogy in terms of you as the educator, what do you say to your students? How do you group your students, right? Those are oftentimes quite time-consuming tasks during the lesson preparation process. Once it's finished, You can see it. It will rewrite the title in a very engaging way, and it will rewrite the learning objective and tell you what material is needed. It will start with a warm-up, and then you can see it built from some prior knowledge to the new concept, and start to give you the visual support, because we want this lesson to be able to support multi-language learners. Using visual support for multi-language learners is a very important pedagogical strategy. Then the AI start to consider that. As you can see, also vocabulary display for English as well as Spanish. And then to the next stage of explain, which is the explaining the new concept to reinforce, to cool down. So in other words, it's pretty much already generated something is ready to go for educators. And you may already say that, okay, this is great. I like the initial printout, but I just don't like this one task. You can highlight this, use the AI command to generate another similar type of a task, where you further guide the AI to generate the task you really wanted to give to your student. That is for the segment modification. As you can see, this is you have the full editing functionality, just like a Word or Google Doc, right? You can add it to your satisfaction. More importantly, we build, this is what National Science Foundation and Department of Ed funded work. We are able to show you exactly how are the AI fine-tuned on in terms of what effective teaching look like. For math, those are the important criteria we teach the AI. For science, for other subjects, it will be different. They are based on research literature. And then the AI chat here can continue chat with you to modify, such as you may say, I wanted to elevate the rigor of all the tasks, because the first initial printout, I don't think is rigorous enough. Let me modify all the tasks in this lesson plan. Here, it won't randomly generate tasks for you. It's actually based on the lesson on the left-hand side of the screen. And then you may say, I can run a simulation. Simulation is allow you to see how this lesson unfold before you even walk into the classroom. And as you see, we have some AI agent act as a student. Alina will be the first student, and Miss Johnson is the classroom teacher, and Noah is the second student. They all ask questions. Noah and Alina have a different student learner profile, and they ask different questions. And the Miss Johnson reply. Liam is the third student and ask a question, reply. Once the AI agents chat with one another, then the reviewer or the one serving as a coach or mentor start to critique this lesson, draw on some effective teaching and effective teaching standards or learning standards. And so those are, and teachers can decide if they wanted to take on any of these recommendations to further refine the lesson. And you can generate a podcast. This is what I just generated before the class. And you can also generate a slide deck from here directly for your lesson plan. I know that Tom, we wanted to give like 30 minutes for us to have a conversation. Therefore, let me quickly show you another function in terms of a generate rubric. Then we will start to chat, right? So the generate rubric today, we will try out a two-step word problem or third grade two-step word problem. The reason we're cultivating rubric-based practice is because we wanted to guide teachers or scaffold teachers into the instructional practice. The literature describe yield a higher level of a student's critical thinking, the type of skills and knowledge we want students to master moving forward, right, in the in the generative AI era, right? We see like today we're going to generate a rubric for specific assessment. And I have a little, you see like this is using my cell phones, just took a picture of my own kid, third grader, his homework, and two-step word problem. Now I'm just dragging that document over here. And I say today, I wanted to use depth of knowledge, which is kind of instructional framework to design this rubric and to grade a student's performance, because I don't just want to see if a student got credit or not. I want to see like what kind of a skill and knowledge students demonstrate in finishing those two-step word problem. Then I click draft rubric. Again, you can see it take a little bit to finish it, because you saw on my little image there, I show you it has the assessment item. It also have students' handwritten response, has the students' teachers marking of whether the students got correct or not, right? So the AI need to recognize which part is the students' handwriting, which part is the regional assessment. It has 4 word problems, right? It need to separate all these 4. It also need to go back to retrieve the most relevant Common Core state standards in order to generate a rubric that not just align with the assessment, but also align with the learning standards. So it's just multiple tools, multiple process all combined together. Once it's finished, it will automatically deposit into my document. As you can see, it print out each of the word problem and the most relevant learning standard associated with that as well. Once I done that, teachers can edit this to their satisfaction using their professional judgment. Let's say teacher happy with the rubric. The next thing they do is to grab this student finished work again, and then generate. The AI will start to do grading for each of the problems, implementing this rubric as well. And AI will also show you exactly the steps it took to complete this task. If it's a mistake, and you can go back to AI's steps to pinpoint like what mistake it made, and then you can get the AI to adjust and fix the problem while it generating. I can show you another tab very quickly. This is you see like that process is educator facing. Now we are piloting and going to make this available to you soon. In the future, you will have your classroom, just like a Schoology or Canvas or other learning management system. And you will be able to organize classroom discussion here, right? And you will be able to offer this as an AI tutor to your students. You will also able to use all the assessment functionality here as well. And after your students submit the work, you can start to grade your student using the pipeline I just show you as well. And now as a finished grading, you can see it's a very detailed report printed out. And it not only gave the score based on the rubric, also give you justification for it, also tell you what are the strengths and area for improvement for your students. You can choose which part of the feedback you actually wanted to share with your student. Let me come back to this again in the demo classroom. I know I'm being switching to different platforms. It's very confusing, but if you all want it, I can do further demo later. And in the classroom, you have a very detailed conversation, discourse from the student with the AI, as well as on your guided classroom instruction. You have the assessment. Then we also build intelligent or data analytic functionality for teachers to quickly get students' growth insight, such as what the key themes of students' discussion, what are their common questions, what are their engagement level, and what is the mastery level of my students for this given learning objective I set up to them. Once they such data being it automatically generated once you tell is for which period as well as for which student this is applied to, right? It can be the entire class or it can be individual student. And then clear AI pop out again and start to work with you to refine your learning material, make sense of those students' data, think about how do you group students for further differentiation, how do you modify your next unit lesson material. So that is all the demo I prepared to show you. As you can see, this platform have a whole lot more functionality. I don't have time to show you, and even for the features I show you today, and it's really in a rough way, which I already utilized 35 minutes. So let me pause there. I'm eager to engage in conversation with you.
Rough, are you kidding? That's amazing. It's super exciting. So a couple of questions. We're curious about uh, when you've got the classroom there and you've got all your students in there, does the AI eventually, once it has enough data from each student, will it adjust? Can it create a lesson for a student based on past performance?
Absolutely. That is all the students' growth insight aiming for. Right now in this little demo classroom, we were able to populate limited amount of data, right? As you mentioned, Tammy, once the teacher utilizes this platform with their students for a little bit, once they accumulate enough data, right? And because you can have a very detailed, this functionality offer very detailed information about students' learning, right? Their habits, their engagement level, what do they interest in, as well as how they master a given concept and skills, right, towards a given learning objective. Then you can use the AI now to say like, here, this generated tasks with different rigors for the entire class or with Carlos, this one student, right? And because this can pull this one student as well. And then you can see like, how do I best facilitate sort of this student's learning moving forward? And can you generate a worksheet or a lesson plan or just some other material just for Carlos?
Oh no, that's exactly what teachers are looking for. Also, I was thinking because the one of the hardest things for teachers is when we have to pull small groups apart from the big group. And a lot of our administrators say, well, give me the lesson plan for that, little small 5-member group that you're pulling back. And, sometimes I was watching you do that and I thought, oh, this would be so cool because I know the standard I'm working on and I can just put that in and it can generate something. And I've got this beautiful 5-minute, I'm assuming, I can tell it, create a 15-minute lesson, small group on blah, blah. And I'd have this beautiful lesson plan to turn in that would just be standards aligned and perfect.
Exactly. This is exactly happened in one classroom that we were doing a professional development or training session for a group of educators in one middle school. And one teacher said that here is the exit ticket of my students today. I have 50 students. I got the exit ticket from these 50 students. The teacher at that time did not even have this whole lot more sophisticated, I would say, like comprehensive data collection from students. And he just got like the exit ticket. What he did is actually he used the brainstorm idea and then upload files, just upload the exit ticket, of course, strip all students' identifiable information from that spreadsheet and just upload it here. Once the teacher uploaded here, the teacher say, now based on the exit ticket, group my students into 4 groups. And next, he say that your task is to generate like a different follow-up math tasks for these 4 groups. And then the AI will be able to generate from there.
Oh my gosh, I'm in love. I mean, back in the old days, it would be just pull a popsicle stick, right, and go with your when you match in your group. Oh, I love this.
I
We had
know.
one other question about the. You said it could generate IEPs, individualized education plans. I assume behavioral plans. Does it use prior student data to create that, or how does the creating an IEP work?
Yes. So, if you don't mind me for taking a little bit detour to show another more comprehensive learning opportunity about how do you support special education learners and writing IEP. If you go on our main page, then go to community
Mhm.
tab and then go to webinars, and
Ah,
here are our monthly free webinars anyone can join. And we just had a webinar called Maximizing Special Education IEP Success, and from assessment to achievement tracking. So during that webinar, I can make the material available to the NCCE community as well, right? The slide deck, which illustrate like how do we embed it special ed learning models, theories, frameworks into your practice of using colleague AI to just, that's a detour. The direct response to your question is there are a number of ways you can and in that slide deck, and when I share with you all later, or if you're interested, because all these sessions going to be rolling sessions in the near future, we'll open up, we'll redo this special ed. Also, on our YouTube channel, we have a recording of that session as well.
oh,
So
perfect. Perfect.
yeah, you can analyze your students' data and then go from there to work with the AI to step by step thinking about if this is my baseline assessment of my students, right? What should be my modified goal? And then based on the modified goal, this is my lesson I offer to everyone. But now, based on the modified goal, help me generate a separate modified lesson plan for this. And then from there, you can see how do I monitor my students' progress from here? Give me the measurement, give me the monitoring tools so I can utilize it in the future. And you can even say, like, this is my district template for IEP. Now fill all the box for me based on what we just chatted about this given student's need.
Wow, that's tremendous. We would love you to share that resource. So the last thing I'm going to ask you, because I heard the teacher's favorite F word, free. Did you say there was a free trial?
Yes, if you come on our platform, you see, try for free.
Oh, right there.
All you need to do is to put your name and make sure you use your district education organization domain email. Then you can get a free account and you can access the latest technology from here.
Perfect. And that's at the www.colleague.ai website.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect.
And it should be on your web browser. You just to do something like this, right? And you will get it here. It's at the top. Try for free or get started. We'll all get you go over there.
That is absolutely amazing. And that's kind of what I love how you called it the third agent, because that's what it should be. It should be something that works with us to help us, especially to help teachers who we know are overworked, to take
Mhm.
some of the burden away with that so that we can, individually meet each student where they are and help them to grow. Dr. Sutton, this is fascinating. I can see why your work has been cited thousands of times. So thank you for your time and your talent and your platform. Everyone, that's colleague AI, COLLEAGUE.ai.
Mhm.
And thank you again for being with us today on Live from NCCE. We'll be back next month on the second Thursday of the month with Tim Needles. So, Dr. Sun, once again, our thanks and gratitude.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this platform.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.